Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the AI Augmented Research Paper Reviewer, an autonomous agentic system using SpoonOS, Neo.org, and Tray to build and evaluate scientific papers with depth of a peer reviewer, speed of an LLM, and reach millions of published papers. So what's the problem here? Every day, thousands of research papers are published across arXiv, medRxiv, PubMed, and other conferences. And reviewers, students, and researchers struggle because there's a lot of review time. It takes 6 to 12 months to get the papers published. There's a high rejection rate. And the idea is if we can cut it down the workload by around 80%. So let's look into the demo now. So we will upload a paper here. Let's pick up randomly one paper and it will now start analyzing it. If the readiness score is more than a particular threshold, then it will be sent for human reviewers. So the problem it solves is it detects the domain, whether it's AI, physics, biology, economics. Is it a novel paper? Does it have similarity with other papers already published? Our methodology involves the design study, data sets clarity, what are the baselines, how reproducible it is, what are the ethics, conflicts of interest, what is the statistical soundness, and what is the engineering rigor that was involved. So we presented some sort of a reasoning quality score to assess the quality of the paper, and let's see how the demo looks like, the results look like. So and it gave it a readiness score of 78. The paper is decentralized finance, and as we can see, it was a decentralized finance paper, the one which we analyzed, and it gives a justification why it had this justification. It is locked onto the N3 blockchain. It's approved for human review. It's a 95% confidence level. These are the other parameters, the domains which were considered. So a paper can go through multiple different domains. So decentralized finance, AI and machine learning, data analytics, and it shows the relevancy score across them. The methodology analysis, what methods it detected, what were the data types, what is the problem the paper is trying to solve, what were the metrics used, the instruments and tools, the framework analysis, again the research paradigm of what the paper is trying to do, what fields it touches upon, and then this is the AI reviewer feedback. So we found like a specific issue here about reproducibility, that while the framework is described, details on data availability and code sharing are not provided. So it limits how easily someone else can reproduce it. So it's a weak accept. So we have different parameters like weak accept, strong accept, and based on that we give the feedback back. So it's around 78%. On the novelty score, it scored 4 out of 5, technical depth 4 out of 5, clarity and communication 3 out of 5, reproducibility was low as we saw earlier, evaluation quality is relatively higher. This is the impact, so it addresses a critical gap in understanding. So the impact is immediate. It could be of a lot of interest to investors and industry who wants to explore that particular area. The scholarly positioning, which is in the existing community, how it behaves, what are the ethical and safety standards of this kind of research, and what is the writing quality, any grammatical issues, any is it generally coherent and adheres to the rigors of the academic quality. So this is the overall score distribution. It also checks for the plagiarism, if it is any similarity with anything else that is already published, which is not here, so it's a pass. A statistical analysis, and then the methodology review. So the next steps could be to submit it to the blockchain. It submits to the blockchain, and as we see, it generates a token, and now we can see what is it for the reviewer. So if the reviewer has a few papers, they can not just review uh, the entire paper but only the sections. So let's say in this case there's a paper which was conducted, you can actually just pick up certain section of the paper on the methodology, and let's say you rate it. So this is for the reviewer to do it, and you do certain things. So you calculated an overall score of 79. So once the reviewer submits the review, it earns certain tokens. So this is now the new balance, the reputation, the transaction on the blockchain, how many tokens it earned. So this is a way to make sure now that your reputation, review tokens, and papers reviewed goes up, and over a period of time, you get paid. So the reviewer gets paid, the researcher gets paid, and that's where they are incentivized to do more of the quality research. And that's how it will look like for the funding. If you certain consortium of companies or people are interested in certain kinds of research, they can increase the funding for those papers. So the papers which have got higher score in terms of quality, more votes, they can get more amount of funding. And this is how the funding leaderboard works. Thank you everyone. Again, we used SpoonOS, Neo.org, and Tray, and mix of Cursor and other AI tools to achieve this project. Thank you for your time.